Hi friend, let's walk and talk together. We're on our way to Issho Bakery. It's a really lovely little cafe that sells maybe the only Hojicha Canelés in the city. I have no other Hojicha Canelés to compare these to, so I don't know if they're the best, but I do think they are the best. If they do have any competition in Toronto, please let me know, and I'll go and be the judge, because any excuse to try Hojicha Canelés is valid. Anyway, similar to my last video, I want to just casually talk about different topics with you and have you join me on my walk. I really recommend getting off the Broadview subway station and just walking downwards. It's a really nice scenic route and you get to see a very lovely view of Riverdale Park as well as the downtown skyline, which we will see very shortly. I've sped up the video for these parts, so you'll see shortly. Anyway, I really want to talk about the fear of being seen and heard. I recently watched Ayandastood's video. If you don't know her, she's great, and I think she has a great name as well as a great channel name. It's so punny, I love it. Please watch all her videos, but related to the topic of fear of being seen, heard, Ayandastood's video, Your Fear of Being Seen is Only Proof of Your Calling. That's a great video, and it really got me thinking, so I won't regurgitate what she said, and if you want to watch her video, please do. Oh look, we've already come. Look at that beautiful skyline. And it's such a beautiful day. Like, look at that. Blue skies. There are some clouds, but that's okay. And the grass is still green. But just to synthesize what she said, if you have a nagging desire to express yourself in a certain way, whether that be writing, talking, drawing, painting, creating your own business, I don't know, acting, whatever that may be. If you have a desire to express yourself a certain way and that desire just won't go, just can't give it up, but it's always accompanied by a sense of dread or fear, avoidance, whatever, then that is a sign that you must honor your desire in spite of the fear. The fear in this case is a sign that the ego is scared of the magnitude of your soul's calling. But we exist to live for our soul's fulfillment, not for our ego's satisfaction. Appeasing our ego and giving into our fears will only amplify what we are missing out on. It will amplify our desires and need for more. It will also amplify our dissatisfaction and emptiness and unfulfillment and feelings of shame and regret. And that's the consequence of not listening to our soul. When we find the courage to listen to our soul and trust that we can survive the unknown, we will feel emotions that we couldn't possibly experience in the avoidance. Once we have the courage to act on our desires, our emotions and experiences will slowly be filled with more color and vibrance, like all these trees in this park. They'll be so colorful, as if we have been previously living in sepia. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz movie, where they go from black and white to color after Dorothy lands in the land of Oz. Dorothy has been living her whole life in black and white, but a tornado comes and takes her whole house with her. Everything changes. It's a whole big upheaval. It's scary. It's frightening. A cow is flying. She doesn't know what's gonna happen. But once the tornado calms down, she lands in the land of Oz. And she discovers color. She's living in Technicolor now. She could never have imagined the colors she would see if she didn't experience that big change, that big transformation, that big tornado. And the start of the journey requires a tornado, a total upheaval. And it's scary to transition from the known to the unknown, from the safe to the potentially unsafe. But the more we avoid that tornado, that big change that we know we need to make, the more we avoid the color that we didn't know we could see. The more we avoid the fun, beautiful experiences we can have that we just can't imagine. And the great thing is, nobody really cares about you as much as you care about you. Unless you have a very overprotective parent, in which case they might care about you as much as you care about you. But all in all, nobody's really thinking about you in their day-to-day. They're mostly thinking about themselves. Just think about it. When you go to bed at night, do you think about someone else's little mistake that they did 5 years ago? Or do you think about your own life, your own behaviors, your own mistakes? It's usually yourself that you're thinking about. So don't let the fear of judgment stop you, because even if people do judge you, it's not going to be for long. It's going to be for 5 minutes max. And hey, they're probably judging themselves way more harshly than they'll ever judge you. On a similar note, sure, nobody thinks about you, and even if they do, they probably think about you in a more positive light than you might think. Especially if you have the courage to be yourself. Like, for example, seeing people be their weird, authentic self makes me so happy. Like, when I see people on the street dressing in a very unique way, in their own quote-unquote weird style, their own creative style, that makes me so happy. Like, it's like the fact that they gave themselves permission to express themselves authentically. It feels like that stranger on the street also gave me permission to express myself authentically. And look, there's a church. I love churches. Like, I just love the buildings. I just love the church designs. They're really warm and cozy. Unfortunately, this church is proposed to be turned into something else. Hopefully they don't turn it into a huge condo or something. It really validates that desire in me to express myself authentically. So if you're scared of expressing yourself, if you're scared of being weird in any way, just think back to all the quote-unquote weird, unique people you've met. Do you ever judge them harshly? Do you criticize them for wearing gothic clothes? Or do you criticize them for laughing at their own jokes? Do you criticize them for just being themselves? Or do you feel happy like I do? And if they can give themselves permission to be authentic, why can't you? If you give yourself permission to express yourself authentically, you might just give others the inspiration to give themselves permission to be authentic as well. And this is the lovely Riverdale Library that also has a placket that I will show. And look at those little cute oil lamps. I love oil lamps. Anyway, we'll get to the library. Just look at that. I love how Toronto has so many libraries. I don't think libraries are this frequent in other places. I'm not sure, but I just love libraries, and I hope they always stay. And right, let's continue on. And yeah, all right, back to our deep discussion. You really can't know the ripple effect you will have on your own life, as well as others, even strangers on the street, for just being who you want to be, for just being you. Like, I want to wear medieval dresses. Why can't I? Why can't I be a medieval princess? Like, why can't I dress like a princess? I'm sure people would be happy to see something other than athleisure and sweaters and sweatpants. And I'm sure there will be people that appreciate your uniqueness and that will see it. And that will see your uniqueness as an inspiration to be more authentic themselves. So, I think we make a lot of excuses when it comes to not acting on our desires to express ourselves when we feel that dread, that fear. And one of those excuses is usually the illusion of competition. So if you're thinking of expressing yourself a certain way and making that your career, a big excuse that comes to mind for not starting is that there are people that do it better than me. Why would people want to buy from me? Why would people want to consume what I have to offer? Alright, so we've arrived at Issho Bakery, and it's quite a small bakery, quite a small cafe. There isn't much seating, but luck is on our side because there's a lot of Canelés to buy. The price is kind of expensive, not gonna lie. Just buying 4 Canelés already reaches my weekly budget for cafes. But it's a really nice place. And their kimchi something scones were really good as well. It's the second scone. The second scone you see there, the kimchi, was it kimchi cheddar? I think it's kimchi cheddar. The kimchi cheddar scones are really delicious as well. All of these baked goods are made in-house, and they're all very delicious. I haven't tried all of them actually, but I'm pretty sure if the Canelés and the scones are good, then everything is good. So I got 3 Hojicha Canelés and 1 matcha Canelé. I personally don't like the taste of rum, so I've tried it, but I just don't like the taste of the tonka and rum because of the rum. But if you do like rum flavor, I would recommend that. And we'll head back to the Riverdale Park to try and eat our Canelés. Back to our discussion. That leads to the question, does competition actually exist? I don't think it does. If your desired industry or field or whatever or has a lot of quote-unquote competition, I think it's just a challenge for you to show up as authentically and uniquely you as you possibly can. A lot of people might not understand what I'm trying to say, so esoterically speaking, I think what we perceive as objective reality is actually like a server in a game. It's the common space where players can interact with each other. But every player has its own reality, its own game, that is entirely unique and incomparable to others. No other player sees what your game looks like. So we assume we're playing in the same game, but what if we aren't? What if reality is really just subjective? What if reality just appears to be objective, appears to be the same as everyone else's, just because we're able to enter a common server each time we interact with other players? I think we each have our own game. We each have our own version of reality. And in our own games, we have full control, and we have quests that our soul wants to go on. And if you have a quest, if your soul has a quest that it wants to go on, there is no such thing as competition. You're in a game where you're meant to go on that quest. Don't think about all the other players that are going on similar quests. Their game has nothing to do with your own game. Their quests and whether they accomplish their quests or not has nothing to do with your quest. The rewards aren't even the same. You have no idea what your reward would be for going on the quest, and you have no idea what other players' rewards are for going on their own quests. So you really can't look at other players and say, oh, they're doing this and I think they're doing it better than me, so why should I? Like, there's nothing special that I bring. Like, why would people want to watch me or listen to me or read about what I have to say? Why would anyone want to consume what I have to put out there? That isn't something we should think about. We all have our own games to play. We all have our own unique realities. And competition could only exist if we live in the same exact game. But we have no proof that we do. And I don't think we do, honestly. So just focus on your own game. And if you have a quest or multiple quests that your soul is just begging you to go on, your quests will stay there at the top of your game as long as you ignore them. If you ignore the main quests of your own game, what fun is it to play? And sure, it's scary to go on a quest. You don't know what bosses you're gonna come across. You don't know if there'll be any obstacles or plot twists, but that's part of the game. You can't control the game. You can only control whether you move forward with a quest or not. And as long as you keep that quest unstarted, as long as you keep that quest in your list of quests untouched, you won't be able to experience all the beautiful things, all the color, all the emotions, all the experiences and growth and rewards that come with going on that quest. And it's a main quest, because if it's nagging at you, it's a main quest. And you don't know what the rewards of that quest are going to be, but you're not supposed to. You have no idea why you have that quest, but it is a main quest, so you can either ignore it and play a very boring game, or you can listen to your inner nudge and just go on that quest and find out what the rewards are. Find out what the plot twists are. Find out how fun the game can be. So competition doesn't exist. Sure, like quote unquote competition can come up in your quest as bosses to fight. It might come up as obstacles. It might come up as challenges to really dig deep and find the best way to express yourself, to challenge you to dig deeper, to grow, to improve yourself and to improve your craft so that you can advance and achieve all the mini checkpoints and goals of that main quest, so that you can actually succeed in reaching the necessary checkpoints on your main quest. If everything goes fine and dandy on your main quest, it's not a really fun game. Like, every game has its bosses, its obstacles, its challenges that require you to grow, that require you to experiment and find what works best, and to iterate on that and to improve on that until you see the rewards. And the rewards aren't a one-time thing. The main quest doesn't really end unless you've taken everything you had to take from that quest. The quest doesn't really end until you give up, or you realize that you learned everything you could and you no longer want to continue, and there's a different quest nagging at you. Maybe then you can decide that the main quest you've been on so far has come to an end, and you can continue on a different main quest. So the competition doesn't exist. The people that you see as competition are there to show you what's possible. to show you what you can do, what you can learn from, what you can use to make your own unique version. How could you know that you want to be, let's say, a content creator if there aren't any content creators? How can you know that you want to be a content creator if you don't see any videos of other people doing whatever they do? Like, if YouTube didn't exist, if Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if none of the social media platforms existed, how would you know that you wanted to make videos? If singers and musicians didn't exist, how would you know that you want to be a musician? You're able to discover what your soul wants by observing the world around you and seeing what is possible. Thank you so much for watching till the very end of this video. Thank you for walking and talking with me, and thank you for listening to all that I had to say. And I love yapping. I love yapping about weird stuff. If there are any other topics you would like my opinion on, I will gladly yap about it in my next video. And also, any advice on how I can improve or tweak or experiment on my videos, I will take that into account. So please let me know in the comments. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your quests. Your life is a game, and games are only fun if you go on adventures and you accept quests. So build the courage and act on your courage and just start your quests. They'll be a lot more fun than you can ever expect or imagine, I promise. Take care. Be kind to yourself and others. I love you. Bye.